Well, so, and I find this very interesting because he was telling me before you got here, he was telling me a story about how he himself got into the car stuff. But we'll let you kind of tell him because I think it relates to a lot what you went through. So, Roberto, tell us about your Dodge Neon that you started off with.
Oh man, this is hilarious. So
You're gonna like this
I
one.
want to say early 2000s. I mean, this is like 99, 2000. Um, Before the first Fast and Furious came out, I had a roommate who moved up to New Jersey from Florida, and of course, in Florida, the scene was already popping. They were
Right.
already doing vinyl on the cars, lowered. You know, they were already doing all that. So when he popped up in New Jersey, everybody was like, "Yo, what the hell is that?" So he was my roommate, and I'm an art guy. I draw and do all those types of things. So I wanted a Honda because he had one and it was cool. So I went to the car dealership to get a Honda, and I was telling Luis that like if you live in the Northeast, New Jersey, Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
New York, you don't necessarily need a car to get around because you could pretty much get anywhere with public transportation and trains and stuff. So I was in an apartment and everything, but I didn't have a car.
Right.
And when I met, his name was Rob Barizzo. Shout out to Rob. I don't think he's doing cars
Shout out to
anymore,
Rob.
but shout out to Rob. I went to the car dealership to get a car, and I wanted the Honda Civic, and they wouldn't let me get one. So they basically told me I could leave with a car, but it would have to be this four-door Neon Sport that they got over here. And I took it because I wanted a car. And when I got home, I was all disappointed because we went through all the super streets and all that, and they didn't have any parts listed for the Neon, in the Nopi section and all that. And Rob, like a champ, instead of saying, "No, you bought the wrong car," he goes, "Well, you got to have the first one. We just got to customize yours." And at that point, I didn't know that could even be done. I thought you could only order what was in the book, and
Yeah.
like that was it. So he convinced me, and we got the car, and I ended up taking the car to like muffler shops and having them do the exhaust custom, and they would laugh because they'd have tubbed out Mustangs in the front, and I'd bring this little Neon up there and tell them I want Flow Masters on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I started going to car events in Englishtown and
Yep.
Atco and stuff like that, and I started meeting more Neon owners, but their cars were in the parking lot. And they said that their car was in the parking lot because they couldn't find any parts, and they wanted to know how I got a strut tower brace, or how did I lower the car, or what exhaust is that, because you know what I mean. So from that, I started networking, and I started a whole car club of Neons. And shout out to my boy Saul Perez. He's still in Jersey. He was one of my guys, and we started a whole club of these things. And believe it or not, after that, I ended up getting sponsored by Chrysler, and just went down this whole thing. And that's what took me from selling cellular phones in the mall or whatever to trying to get into the auto industry, and I've been at it ever since.
Man, it's a good story because one, it resonates with, you're right, part of it resonates with me, is that like I was trying to, like, I always feel like that old dude that's saying I walked uphill like both ways to school when we start talking about automotive, because the
Right.
truth is, man, like, these people don't understand. Like, when we started messing with cars, you couldn't just buy everything. You know what I
No.
mean? You couldn't
Nope.
buy everything. And when you had to make things, and you had to, like, people don't understand that, like, because there's no social media at that point, you went to the track religiously, one, because you wanted to run your car. But there was plenty of people that went to the track religiously that didn't ever run their car. And the idea was that was the place where you got to look on other people's projects and say, what are they doing? Like, what can I do? How do I make this thing work? And listen, as much as I want to make fun of the fact that your first car was a Neon, my first car was a 92 Camry, you know what I mean? So I'm like right there with you. Yeah.
That was another one. It was the
Yeah.
Stratus, the Camry,
Yeah.
the Neon, the
Stratus.
Cavalier. Yeah, all of us were like, we would go to events and we'd be put in this class called Other. They would just throw us all in one
And
group together.
let's not forget the famed Beretta.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean?
Hey, I can't even front, man. The Beretta was that car back in the day.
Yeah. It's so bad.